Thanks for being here this Friday, and it is also Friday, July the 12th, and it's been a pretty nice day in the neighborhood. Got some more of the same, got a little more detail on when we might see what's left over from what will be Tropical Storm Barry, which may make landfall, of course, as a hurricane in a Category 1 status very soon in Louisiana. We'll talk about its status as of right now and look at our forecast. The timing, if we do see some significant or any rainfall from Barry, it's changed to the tune of about a day. Your forecast has also changed a bit as well. And one of our top stories has changed dramatically in just the past few moments. I actually got out and covered an auto accident around 3 o'clock this morning that appeared to have been a single vehicle accident. It was later determined to involve in a golden alert situation out of Louisville. We've now learned that that man has been found dead. The driver of the car that was crashed here unknown. And all this is kind of unfolding in the last few moments, and I haven't been able to reach authorities right now who are investigating, but I'll tell you everything I can in just a few seconds. I'll also tell you what I can about a recent meeting just yesterday in Frankfort in regards to the ongoing organized effort to consolidate a lot of already existing trails into one big legal trail system, which would be even bigger than the Hatfield-McCoy trails of West Virginia, to bring in tourism, ATV, horseback, bicycle, and other enthusiasts. Also, a little good news, some good news, real good news, but we still need some help with it. Talking about a fundraiser that's ongoing. I'll get to that in just a few moments. One thing before we go on, and that's the topic of sanctuary cities. Yes, here in Kentucky, that is, of course, the topic. As today, Governor Bevin says he furthered his commitment to serve those who serve us. He's joining other lawmakers, including members of the Fraternal Order of Police, Homeland Security, and our local representative, John Blanton, and Senator Danny Carroll in these efforts to join in legislation to ensure local law enforcement can effectively cooperate with federal agencies in combating crime. The legislation is actually sponsored by Senator Danny Carroll and Representative John Blanton of here in Magoffin County, and it prohibits local governments from enacting sanctuary policies that would prevent local law enforcement from cooperating with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. In recent months, politicians in some Kentucky communities have promised these dangerous policies that discourage vital partnerships between local police and federal officials, says the governor. State and local governments in liberal states like California, he says, Oregon, Washington, New York, Rhode Island, and Connecticut have already adopted sanctuary policies. Senator Carroll, a former Paducah assistant police chief, and of course our own Representative John Blanton, a former Kentucky State Police major, each noted the urgency to address sanctuary city policies, with Blanton saying that sanctuary policies allow politicians to force their political agenda upon the law enforcement community, and those types of policies are in direct violation to the oath that police officers take to protect and serve their communities, and legislation is necessary to ensure that law enforcement can do their job without the undue influence of politics. The proposed legislation, says Blanton and Carroll, clarifies state law regarding sanctuary policies by providing a precise definition of what exactly a sanctuary policy is. It also prohibits sanctuary policies in the Commonwealth and encourages federal, state, local law enforcement collaboration and grants the Commonwealth the authority to reinforce those provisions. Law enforcement groups have been urging the governor and members of the General Assembly to take action on this important issue, and these groups note that sanctuary city policies serve as a virtual flashing neon sign for criminals to set up shop within a community because of the lack of local, state, and federal law enforcement coordination. Now let's go to our state's capital on another note, for a meeting held yesterday, attended by our Magoffin County Judge Executive Matt Wyman, who also serves on the board in question. Wyman was in Frankfort on yesterday. He attended a special meeting of the Kentucky Mountain Region Recreational Authority, of which he is on the executive board. I believe he serves in the capacity as treasurer. And at the end of the day, they were asked by State Representative Chris Fugit to join himself, along with others, to speak to the KMRAA about the KMRAA to the Interim Joint Committee on Tourism, Small Business, and Information Technology. They're hopeful to be able to get some funding to help tourism dollars come to our area in eastern Kentucky and Magoffin County as well, to help form a collective trail, joining essentially a lot of unofficial trails in several counties. The ultimate goal, almost 3 dozen, to form a eastern statewide trail, if you will, that would rival the Hatfield and McCoy Trail. not just in size, but also in economic revenue.
Their goal is to, in the not-so-distant future, reach out to landowners and legally connect trails in Knott, Floyd, Johnson, Magoffin, Pike, Martin, and other counties, giving landowners 100% immunity from any liability and making the Kentucky trails even larger and more attractive than those of the Hatfield-McCoy, which Representative Chris Fugate says is very possible after he's seen firsthand and studied what a success the Hatfield-McCoy trails have been to West Virginia.
They sold last year $2.1 million in permits. $2.1 million in permits. They had over 51,000 visitors last year to the eight southernmost counties of West Virginia on the trail system, and 85% of those 51,000 came from outside a 100-mile radius of the trail system. So they're bringing a lot of tourism into those counties. They come in groups. If you'll look through there, the trail statistics, 44% of the people that come in a group of 6 people or more. 47% of them stay in cabins, which we'll talk about here in just a few minutes. They stay. 40% of the people that come stay more than 4 days.
Fugate went on to say that each trip, 25% of all the tourists spent at least $500 or more, with the least amount being $150 or more, and the rest of the folks in the middle of those numbers. That's per person, per trip, totaling almost $23 million in revenue last year alone.
As a new county judge in eastern Kentucky with a declining population, we're watching dollars go down the road and leaving our communities. We got to bring money in if we're going to grow. We got to bring recreation to eastern Kentucky if we're going to invite businesses into our community. They got to have things to do. Right now, there are several one-day things that we can do in eastern Kentucky, but we can bring this in. I think the statistics will show that a lot of folks come and they hang around for 2 or 3 days spending more and more money. And if me and you are handing $5 between us back and forth all the time and we don't have any new money coming in, nobody's going to grow. We've got to bring that outside money in. Eastern Kentucky already has the trails established. We all ride. We got to bring those new riders in. We got to bring those people in so that they can build those things that we need to build up our economies. We need those jobs in there to help increase our revenues from occupational taxes and things of that nature. Right now, we are solely being based on property taxes, and in my county, that is killing my community. We have got to bring economic development to eastern Kentucky, and this is a key component, in my opinion.
Prior legislation passed in 2017 started this movement. There's already a 9-county board that's been set, which has identified existing trails ready to adopt into the system, with their hopes of becoming a self-sustaining entity, funding the local economy to the tunes of millions of dollars in a very narrow time.
While House Bill 156 started the ball rolling in this direction a couple of years ago, there is a 9-member board, of course, representing 9 counties of the 35, a rotating county board, if you will, that's already been put in place. Those individuals were there to talk before that committee yesterday in regards to getting $1 million over the course of the next 2-year budget to hire an individual, a director, if you will, to begin the process of contacting and reaching out to landowners and connecting those trails legally and giving those landowners 100% immunity in regards to any liability, which will be the very next step. The committee took that under consideration and will, of course, keep you up to date. I'll be right back.
Of course, you can always get guaranteed great deals this time of year on mowers and weed eaters and blowers, but right now at Parkway Gun and Pawn, they've also got an incredible selection of hand and power tools, guitars, and musical instruments just in, new and used, long and handguns, and ammunition and more, with no pawn limits and cash today on anything you want to sell or pawn. Parkway Gun and Pawn. Founded in 1974 on the idea that we all deserve and need the very best in medical services and patient-oriented care, but at reasonable prices we can afford, Big Sandy Healthcare and Hope Family Medical Center have also put together a team of professionals and providers, all at one location, all with you and your family in mind, with pharmacy, dental, lab and x-ray, pediatrics, adult medicine, behavioral health, and more. Come see us, for anything, at Hope Family Medical Center in Salyersville.
SSI and disability cases are harder to win these days. You need all the help you can get. If the government has turned you down, I will not. Many factors are considered when a claim is being processed, like your age, education, physical, and mental disabling conditions. When it comes time to winning your disability case, you should not face a federal judge alone. You need an attorney who is experienced, determined, hardworking, knowledgeable, and dedicated to helping you win benefits that you deserve. If you need help with your SSI or disability case, call me, Donald Wayne McFarland, and let me go to work for you.
Getting the best deal on the best tires with the best service has never been easier. Just log on to ConleyTire.net, check out the latest rebates, sales, and promotions, pick out the tires you want, and email, call, or come by. For huge savings from the family who's been proudly serving the area for over 32 years. Conley Tire in Staffordsville, 297-2424. At Sagersville National Bank, they know your house is much more than your home. It's an investment, and for many of us, the biggest we'll ever make. And whether it's for needed repairs and maintenance, or a new addition or renovation to give you some more room and more equity, let Sagersville National Bank deal with all the financial work and worry. Real and real competitive, hometown, homegrown, home improvement loans at Sagersville National.
I've placed a couple of last-minute phone calls trying to get an official statement or update in regards to that single vehicle crash, which appears to be related to a golden alert and death of a Louisville area man or Oldham County man. So I'm going to hold that story for just a few seconds, which gives me time to go to another one. An update, if you will. It was just this past third day of the month, not been that long ago, but on the 3rd of July, we announced that the Montgomery County Rescue Squad was starting a fundraising campaign specifically for the purchase of another drone, a much more advanced drone equipped with a thermal imaging camera to be able to allow them to pick up and identify heat signatures during the day or during night, obviously, to help find anyone, a missing Alzheimer's patient, a missing child, anyone lost or in a dire situation within a multitude of areas and scenarios in McGoffin County and in neighboring counties as they would offer mutual aid. Well, a bit of good news tonight, and that comes via this interview with Carter Conley.
Well, technically, the rescue squad only has about $100 or so in hand toward that original $10,000 goal. But, and this is a big but, an anonymous donor has apparently approached the Montgomery County Rescue Squad and Carter Conley and made an offer, but the rescue squad would still need a lot of your help to take advantage of it. So the simple question to Carter today was, what's the exact status this morning?
I haven't been to the post office, so I don't know if anything's there. Of course, the paper just come out. I think that's going to be the big, people read the paper. And I did have a subject that read the paper yesterday and called me. He said, can I meet you down at the station, rescue station? I said, yeah. A couple of EMS calls, and I finally made it down here. He informed me that once we raise $2,500, he will match that with another $2,500. And so we've had $100, I know, and then actually one guy gave me $5, and I know that was most of the money he had. So, it all counts. Bigger ones are better, small ones add up. So far we're working toward 10,000, but we can do something with, if we get the next 2,500, if we get that, and then match it with 25, so 5,000, we can really do something. We can probably get a camera, but we'd like to have a separate drone with that camera. But we'll take first 5,000. We'll see what we can work with, and it's been a very good day. And we're gonna get people out there. If you don't have 2,500, you want to donate 100, a couple hundred or something in memory of someone or honor of someone, so that's what we're asking. That to help us that way.
And again, if you can help, I really can't think of, for that amount of money, any other device that could be as life-saving or have as much life-saving potential for the rescue squad. With that said, here's tonight's McGoffin Farm Bureau community calendar, and I've got to say happy anniversary, first of all.
An anniversary wish will kick off tonight's McGoffin Farm Bureau community calendar, and it's a happy 48th anniversary wish to Christine and Bill Poe. Happy anniversary to you from a big long list of family and friends. Happy 48th anniversary. Going on to the rest of the calendar announcements, just a couple of reminders before I leave you for the weekend, and it's a big weekend for yard sales. One big, long yard sale on 1081. That's tomorrow. Weather's going to be perfect for it, and you can stop and eat breakfast and or lunch at the Little Fork Church, where they'll be serving meals midstream along a lot of great deals. So if you're checking out the 1081 yard sale tomorrow, the big annual event that's grown every year since they started it, be sure and stop by the Little Fork Church and get a meal with them, breakfast and or lunch served tomorrow. And tomorrow evening at 6, you can wrap it all up by spending some time with the folks at the Elk Creek Free Will Baptist Church for some blessed gospel singing, as the Cornerstone Singers will be there tomorrow night at 6. And starting Monday morning, a 4-day basketball camp here in Magoffin County, hosted by the Magoffin County High School Boys Program and Coach Scott Castle. $50 for the entire week. That's Monday through Friday. Kids, boys, and girls ages 6 to 17, learning all the necessary and important fundamentals. You can be there that morning, get registered, and get your child in basketball camp for Monday through Friday. Once again, 9 till 12:30 at the Magoffin County High School. Lunch is also provided and included in that $50 per person registration fee. And there's no fee for our community calendar. All you have to do is tell me about your announcement, birthdays and anniversaries too, and I'll gladly, proudly tell everyone about it. And our last announcement coming on tonight's funeral service listings, and that is services which have now been set for 39-year-old Janet Sue Jackson of Villa Rica, Florida, who passed away on the 10th, the daughter of Sylvia LeMaster, Howard Castle, and the late Jimmy Jackson. Besides her mom, she's survived by a daughter, Savannah Lynn Fidstera. Visitation is going to be tomorrow after 12:30. Services will start Sunday morning at 11 from the Magoffin County Funeral Home. From brakes, exhaust, suspension, fluid changes, to expert collision and auto body, to turning your 4x4 or diesel from mild to wild, get real auto maintenance, paint, and repair at Black Smoke Performance in Dixie of Sagersville. 349-8785.
Appalachian Wireless wants to know if you're tired of settling for a phone you didn't really want because it was more about the cost of the device rather than the phone you really wanted. Well, Appalachian Wireless has the solution, and it's called the Appalachian Advantage. With Advantage, every phone model is back on the table because you only have to pay the taxes on the device you really want. Many of our hottest smartphones are less than $50 up front, then a few extra dollars on your monthly bill. With Appalachian Advantage. Payment agreement is required. See store for complete details.
Your new IGA has fresh brewed coffees and delicious donuts made 7 days a week. Daily made breads piled high with any meat or cheese you can think of. And come and taste the salads, broccoli and cauliflower, cornbread, and their gourmet chicken salad made fresh right here. They've got fruit and vegetable and meat trays made with a little love, and celebrate anything with perfectly professionally made cakes. All fresh and ready for your next meal, party, or event at your Sagersville IGA, where it's a new day, place, and way to shop. We've got 2 extra special treats for you right now for a limited time at your Sagersville Lee's Famous Recipe. We've got all new milk chocolate chunk and white chunk macadamia cookies for a little extra treat after your meal. And back for a limited time, our famous loaded potato wedges. That's right, our fresh made potato wedges, cheese and bacon, and a side of sour cream if you want. For a limited time, only at your Sagersville Lee's Famous Recipe. If you haven't stopped by the seasonal shop lately, you're missing out. They've got new arrivals weekly and great deals every day, and the entire store has a fresh new look. Summer's here, and the seasonal shop is ready for fun, sun, and the cutest clothes. They've got outfits for any special occasion you might have on your calendar, or casual outfits for any day of the week. So come in and let them help you select the perfect outfit, and don't forget the jewelry. They've got a large selection of some of the most unique jewelry in the area, and they've got everything you need for your pool or beach days with bright, beautiful cover-ups and caftans, sunglasses, towels, and hats. And new patchwork Kentucky hats with a heart over Sagersville are the perfect way to keep the sun off your face at Fraser's Prater Drugs Seasonal Shop. Just like that, we've jumped into the spring allergy season with all the buds and blooms, tree and grass pollen, mold. and all the nasal congestion, sneezing, itchy nose and eyes and throat that they cause. Don't get caught off guard. Protect yourself daily with a quick trip to Parkway Pharmacy for over-the-counter and prescription relief. And you can always log into parkwaypharmacy.com to have your prescriptions ready when you get there at Parkway Pharmacy in Sagersville.
Well, there is now, even more than there was last night, a lot of mystery and unanswered questions surrounding a single vehicle accident that happened very early this morning, around 3 o'clock this morning on the Mountain Parkway. A car found empty, later determined to be reported stolen and related possibly to a golden alert situation in Louisville. And just moments ago this afternoon, it appears as though we have learned that the man at the center of that golden alert was found dead near where the golden alert was issued, while it appears as though his car was involved in a single vehicle crash with no driver to be found here in McGoffin County this morning.
Very early this morning, just a few minutes before 3 o'clock, an employee on the night shift at the Sagersville Water Works called 911 to report that he had heard what sounded like skid marks followed by a crash coming from the direction of the Mountain Parkway, anywhere possibly between the Route 7 exit and that of the Route 30 exit. 911 then called the McGoffin County Rescue Squad. Several members got out and started to begin a search, and I actually first came upon this vehicle about a half a mile or maybe a mile from exit 75 headed west. It was off to the side of the eastbound lanes, sitting in a reverse direction, and there were obvious skid marks showing that the vehicle or the driver had lost control and collided with the hillside and then left. Now, there was already one other vehicle there when I arrived, and that was from another motorist, a local man and woman who were traveling towards Sagersville, who told me that when they got there, there was another vehicle on the scene that they described as a silver or gray sedan, possibly resembling a Pontiac G6. Now, that man told me that when he pulled up, he saw a white male with tattoos on his arms getting a wallet out of this car and then getting into the car that he had just gotten out of, which was being driven by a brown-headed female. Now, the motorist that I was talking to said that he also believed that man was stealing a wallet from the car and told him to put it back, but he just continued on, got in the car, and they left the scene before the arrival of any law enforcement or EMS. So technically, it's unknown if a person, that brown-headed woman in that silver car, may have been picking up the driver of this vehicle, or if they just came upon the accident and the man that those two motorists saw was stealing a wallet that was left behind by the unknown driver. It's still yet to be determined from my understanding. But we do know that while on the scene, McGoffin County 911 ran the license plates. It was a Kenton County tag, and Post 9 informed local dispatchers that that vehicle had been reported stolen and was related to a golden alert case out of or near the Louisville area. They had a description of the man in his 60s, a black man with gray hair who was last seen not wearing any shoes and with an unknown whereabouts. Now, I can tell you after that, myself and members of the rescue squad visited businesses that were open on the Parkway and on Restaurant Row, informing them and asking them if they'd seen anyone matching that description or any description. Local hospitals were called. It wasn't that great of a collision, but they were called nonetheless by law enforcement, and no one could be seen after searching the area for a long time walking along the Mountain Parkway or Route 7 or anywhere else matching this man's description or any other. So today, we did find out this, however. The man that you see in this photograph is 63-year-old Raymond Hinkle, the name that was given to the McGoffin County dispatcher last night. He was reported missing after he was last seen in the Oldham County area on Jericho Road around 8 o'clock yesterday afternoon. And his body was found in a park in that area, somewhere near Wilbourn, in Wilbourn Park, sometime. The report just lists Friday, which would have had to have been sometime around midnight for that to be correct. I've reached out to authorities in Oldham County. I've also reached out to the Kentucky State Police. Trooper Dustin Thompson was the one who arrived on scene last night and is handling the investigation. So far, they've all been busy and I've been unable to reach them. So I don't know anything else except the fact that there appears to have been a golden alert situation or a missing man. This man, identified as 63-year-old Raymond Hinkle, that this car registered to him was involved in this accident with an unknown driver, while Hinkle's body was found sometime during the overnight, I assume at this point, near where he lived. Evidence in the car that was found included a bag that contained several needles. There was also what appeared to be a Ziploc bag with a lot of jewelry stashed in the glove box, and authorities are still investigating that vehicle and its contents. And once again, at this hour, that's just all we know as we wait to hear more details about the investigation. Should they be released over the course of the weekend, I'll post those on our Sagersville Independent Your News Today website, and if not, we'll gather as much information and have that for you at the first of next week. If you saw anything on the Mountain Parkway around this time frame in any form or fashion, maybe not thinking it was important at the time, please call the Kentucky State Police.
So indeed, a scary situation, and all that I believe to be accurate at this point. And again, as soon as we can get some more information, we will get it out to you. Here's the information as we get ready to close up for the week on Barry, where he's headed and when he might make his way into Kentucky. It's a scary situation for folks in Louisiana, to say the very, very least, while we, on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, are looking at a pretty nice weekend weather-wise.
About a 24-hour adjustment for the possibility still of anything left over from Barry making its way into Kentucky and the viewing area. Most likely Kentucky will see some precipitation. Eastern Kentucky still a bit uncertain on that fringe, but a lot of folks could pick up a couple of 2 or 3 inches of rainfall associated with Barry by the time it makes its way into central Kentucky. As for where it's at now, well, it's bearing down on Louisiana about 100 miles, I believe, southeast of Morgan City, Louisiana, with maximum sustained winds of about 65 miles per hour. Of course, prior to that, we knew that the Red Cross and National Guard are already being activated. About 10,000 mandatory evacuations in that part of the coast. The slow-moving storm could dump anywhere from 10 to 20 to 25 inches of rain on Louisiana and southwest Mississippi, and will be closely watched and monitored over the course of the weekend. While for us, we're going to be sitting rather pretty for your weekend forecast, powered by Licking Valley RECC. A nice one out there and on the mild side, thanks to that front that's gone through. 62 tonight under mostly clear skies, patchy fog. And that's it. Tomorrow for your Saturday, dry, sunny, mostly clear, mid-80s, 86, 57 as we'll cool off a bit for tomorrow evening. An even more comfortable Saturday evening. A nice night to sit by the grill, fired up, maybe just sit by and look at it. Whatever excites you, it's going to be a good evening, not just tonight, but tomorrow night as well. Sunday, we're going to inch up to about 88 degrees or so. Still mostly sunny skies. Shower chances, as you might notice, do work their way back into the forecast Sunday night to the tune of 30%. That's mainly Sunday afternoon, really. Right now, the timetable looks to be after 5 o'clock or so, so you might have to deal with some latter afternoon, early evening showers on Sunday. Just keep your eye on the weather to see. Monday, that shower chance scenario stays firmly in place. Partly sunny, 85, mid-80s, 30% chance of showers across the board for your Monday, 68 that night, a 30% on Tuesday, a 30% on Tuesday night. Wednesday of next week looks to be our next real weather maker with a 60% a likelihood of showers and possible thunderstorms. And then Wednesday, of course, as you see, a 40% chance as we start to wane thereafter. Temperatures throughout the entire forecast ranging, as you see, anywhere from the mid to slightly upper 80s.
And that's going to wrap it up. I will not be here to say it tomorrow, but please join me in wishing the most happiest of birthdays to my beloved Lacey. This hurts a little. And it hurts a lot. Turning 20 tomorrow on July the 13th. So please join me in wishing her the very happiest of birthdays tonight. Thank you for watching. Have a good weekend. We'll see you back here Monday.